Hello, welcome to the variable length subnet mask tutorial. I know we've been having a hard time finding a common schedule, and that's the main reason why I am doing this video instead. So you can just access this video anytime you feel like you wanted to learn more about how to compute for the variable length subnet mask or IP subnetting. But before anything else, let me just give you first of what we're going to be discussing for the session. Mainly we'll be discussing about how you can compute for the IP address for your network, how to compute for the network address, the IP range, the broadcast address, because that's the main thing that you need to do even before you can go on and configure your network devices. So what is an IP address? An IP address or Internet Protocol is a numerical label assigned to each device connected to a computer. And if you have started reading on the basics of the network connection, you should have an idea that every device connected to the internet should have a unique IP address. And what we're using right now for Cisco is still IP version 4. And IP version 4, as we all know, is a 32-bit number. It's a 32-bit address. So meaning to say we have 4 octets as an IP address. I'm not sure, but if you have seen or if you have tried configuring your Wi-Fi connection, you have probably seen this particular IP address here. And if you try to check on that, this is the 32-bit IP address that we're still using, IP version 4. So before anything else, let me just discuss to you first the IP classes, because we actually have several IP classes. So first off, we have IP class A, we have class B, we have class C, class D, and finally class E. And if we talk about the IP ranges, class A is between 1 to 126, class B is between 128 to 191, class C is 192 to 223, class D is 224 to 239, and finally we have 240 to 254. And for the subnet or CIDR, this is /8, this is /16, this is /24, and then this is dedicated for multicasting, and this is for experimental. What kind of experiment? I'm not really sure, but don't worry, we're not really going to use class D and class A. We'll be focusing on class A, class B, and class C. Now you might want to ask me, where's 0 and 127 here? The numbers for class A. We're not using 0 and 127 because of a few things. First off, 0 is a universal gateway. This is our default route, while 127 is our loopback address. That's the reason why we skip the following number when we are trying to write on the IP range for our IP classes. Also, you might need to remember that class A, 1 octet is dedicated for network and the rest of the octet are dedicated for host. So you'll be able to learn and understand which particular classes is appropriate for your network design. For class B, 2 octets are dedicated for network and 2 octets are dedicated for host. And last but not the least, we have class C, 3 octets dedicated for network and then 1 octet dedicated for host. So this is basically the IP classes that we have. This is basically what you need to learn for this particular discussion. As for the next discussion, we'll be starting with the computation of how we can check which broadcast address does a certain subnet mask have or IP classes have. So please stay tuned.